Lots of drama happening in Bitcoin this week as Telegraph opens the week by saying that the Bitcoin spot ETF was approved by the SEC, only to shortly thereafter remove it from the website, saying, actually, no, that was just fake news. But this started rumors about the fact that actually this must be brewing in the background, and people still started to get excited. And then just yesterday, we had an absolute god candle, a massive green candle breaking through all major resistance levels and a 500-day suppression of the trend. Everything in just minutes, millions and millions. I think it was up to $2 billion came in 2 minutes. Just like that. And people went wild because the IBTC ticker symbol appeared on the DTCC website. That is the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. And when that happens, it usually signals that an approval is imminent, meaning very, very near. And it would clear it to be traded on the NASDAQ stock exchange. So that's what set this whole fury off. That's what set everything off, really. And Bitcoin shot all the way up to $35,000. It was amazing. And just now, today, during the time of recording, I actually had to re-record because this happened. The ticker symbol IBTC has since been removed, much like the story on Telegraph, by the DTCC. We don't know what this means, but whale games. That's all I can say. Whale games. We are playing with whales now. We're getting involved with institutions, and we need to learn to swim with them, plain and simple, because this has been happening throughout the week, and I can imagine these kinds of things will happen as we onboard more institutional money. So in this episode, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to let you know where I think Bitcoin is headed and what I'm positioned to do next. According to the charts, I'll show you a lot of short-term charts, medium-term charts, and what I think could happen in the long run, just to get you prepared, because I want you to succeed. So without further ado, I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan. And one more thing, when we do hit that 45K mark, we are celebrating together on this channel. I have a mini flight here of champagne and my champagne glass. I will pour one out and celebrate with you when that does happen, because you know what? It's been a long and drawn out bear market, and we've been through a lot, and that's going to be a major level of we made it, we stuck through it, we saw it through, and here we are today to celebrate as a community. And congratulations, everyone. Let's get right into it. It's been a wild week, everyone. Like I said in the intro, it has been an absolute roller coaster of a week, starting with Telegraph falsely reporting fake news that the BlackRock spot ETF had been approved, to yesterday where everybody went absolutely wild about the IBTC ticker symbol being added to the DTCC and therefore almost cleared to trade on the NASDAQ stock exchange, which we'll go over all today about what happened with that news. And most recently, that it is just in BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF, IBTC, has just been removed from the DTCC website. So first it was removed from Telegraph, then it was removed from the DTCC. Coincidence? Accident? Mistake? We don't know. Shenanigans. But like I said before too, whale games. We are going to have to, we'll learn to swim with these whales because they're playing with us now. And how do we deal with that? Well, we continue to do what we've always done. We stick to our guns, we keep our dollar cost average going, and we continue to do our thing, because BlackRock cannot change or tamper with Bitcoin. The only thing that can happen with the truest and purest form of Bitcoin is that they can accumulate and make the price go up. But we're still doing our thing. We're not freaking out about this. We're going to stay calm and level-headed. So stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to show you the charts and exactly where we're headed short term, what you need to keep in mind, major zones of support that need to hold, and also a long-term trajectory chart at the very end to give you an even bigger perspective about where we're headed, so you can have less stress. Just set it and forget it. Like I say in every single episode, less stress, more success. So that way, when you see these massive green God candles, you're just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the show and watching the show. You only feel stressed if you feel you've bought too little, or you feel that you are underwater, which is when it goes down. But we're going to try to keep our cool, try to keep our calm throughout this market this time. Let's play this one differently. This is how you win in the long term. Okay, So let's get right into it. Just in, the ticker symbol for BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF removed. We will get back to this news first. Let's backtrack here on the news that actually made these massive green candles happen in just minutes, shooting Bitcoin up to 35,000. BlackRock iShares Bitcoin Trust is now listed on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation with the ticker symbol IBTC. So everyone went crazy on this news, but let's unpack just exactly why. So BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF now listed on NASDAQ trade clearing firm, Bloomberg analyst. Okay, so basically they're describing the process and what this actually means, that the ticker symbol has been placed there before it's been publicly announced that it's been approved as a spot Bitcoin ETF by the SEC. So the exchange-traded fund proposed by investment firm BlackRock has been listed on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, DTCC, suggesting potential approval by the U.S. Securities Exchange. So then the Bloomberg ETF analyst says here, it was all part of the process of bringing the crypto ETF to the market. The iShares Spot Bitcoin ETF ticker symbol of IBTC for a possible listing on the NASDAQ stock exchange, which applied to list trade shares of the investment vehicle in June. So here's just more news on that. BlackRock may have already received the green light for the listing the ETF from the SEC or was prepping everything assuming so. Based on the date of BlackRock's application, the SEC has until January 10th, 2024 to reach a final decision on approval or denial. So basically it's saying that BlackRock did this, front-running the fact that they are positive that their Bitcoin ETF will be approved imminently, shortly. And then we go here for more speculation. The Bitcoin futures ETFs updates their filings and add a ticker symbol. Eric, that's what happens right before launch. SEC approves Bitcoin futures ETF 6 days later. So this is by the same analyst, Bloomberg analyst. Valkyrie just updated that their Bitcoin futures ETF prospectus, which typically only happens when ducks are in a row ready for launch. So this is like all but said and done here. And they added their ticker symbol BTF, although no fee still. So this is more speculation on another ETF. That's what happens right before a launch. They fill in all the X's and add the ticker. So that's what you need to know. This is usually done right before a launch. What I just can't unpack is how all of this happened so coincidentally, that Cointelegraph accidentally posted that it was approved. And then that was removed. Now it was put up on the DTCC as, a ticker symbol. And now that's been removed. What is going on here? What is going on here? Because, you and I were here with Savvy. We're investing throughout this whole period, regardless of the news. Actually, for those of you who've been in this market for a long time, you understand that actually the news comes after the market. The markets, the charts dictate what's going to happen oftentimes well before the news comes. So, these whale games, these manipulation games, whatever you want to call them, we're used to that. But the mainstream isn't. So these really mess with people and they can get people really confused and actually losing a lot of money if they're just trading in the near very short term. So BlackRock takes apparent new step in Bitcoin ETF prep. So then on that, there was then more news that BlackRock is actually pre-seeding its ETF this month, meaning putting money into that, pre-funding it before it goes live. Seeding an ETF is when initial funding is provided typically by a bank or broker-dealer used to purchase a few creation units, in this case Bitcoin, in exchange for ETF shares. So it can pre-fund its ETF, pre-seed it. Note, seeding is typically not a lot of money, just enough to get ETF going. So I wouldn't read this as, oh my God, BlackRock is buying a ton of Bitcoin, just like everybody might have assumed when they read this news at all. But more the fact that they're doing it and disclosing it shows another step in the process of launching. Okay, so then after that news of the ticker symbol being added, people were speculating that they're also going to do this pre-seeding round. And here's more. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager. BlackRock are confirmed to be buying Bitcoin ahead of their spot Bitcoin ETF approval later this month. So everybody's all but sure that this is happening, all but sure. And meanwhile, well, we'll get there in a second. BlackRock is buying Bitcoin and prepping for the ETF approval. So this listing comes after BlackRock amended its original Bitcoin ETF proposal on October 18th. So they amended the original proposal They pointed out that the amended filing included a QSIP, a unique identifier necessary for North American securities. So they amended it to include that. The filing also vaguely mentioned that seed creation baskets for ETF would be purchased in October. So they also mentioned that they would be seeding their ETF, which is why people are speculating that that's what they're doing, loading up on Bitcoin, okay? Subject to certain conditions. That means that buying Bitcoin is buying, well, typo. That means that BlackRock is buying Bitcoin, although it may be in small amounts. Small. I wonder what small means to a corporation like BlackRock. The developments at BlackRock are part of a larger trend as other investment firms like ARK and 21 Shares have all updated their Bitcoin ETFs as well. So everybody is getting ready for these launches. They're updating, they're making the necessary adjustments to be able to partake in this. Meanwhile, this guy says it. Love waking up to a God candle. $310 million worth of Bitcoin shorts were liquidated in past 24 hours. It's what I was talking about. A lot of people got wrecked on this because they were going short, meaning they had leveraged positions to the downside, thinking that Bitcoin would go down, and all of those shorts got liquidated. So they lost their money, and that was $310 million worth. And this is what happens when these big news cycles come out and they create FOMO in one direction or the other. So that's why it's dangerous to trade like that. And most people, they don't want that kind of stress. So instead of waiting for these big catalysts, we're getting in before them. All right. So the iShares Spot Bitcoin Trust began trading on Depository. So just more of this news. And let's get back to this news now. The news of today. Just in, the ticker for BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF, IBTC, has just been removed from the DTCC website. What is this? I was just having a talk with a colleague today, and he said, yeah, everything's going to be great, and it looks like it's going to be bullish again, and BlackRock doesn't mess this up. My natural response was, we hit 65K without BlackRock. We can be without them again. No, but really, this is the entire world's perception now. When BlackRock speaks, everybody listens. They manage over $9 trillion in assets, so it's natural that this has this kind of effect on the market. And it's also it's a shame because there is seemingly a lot of manipulation happening here. The most ironic part to me is that the DTCC on Google, when you ask, what is it? What is the DTCC? It's advanced solutions that help markets grow and protect the security of the global financial system. How is that protecting their security? Putting it up and taking it down, making lots of shorts get liquidated, lots of people, lots of longs get wrecked. I mean, what is going on here? You've got to ask yourself, what is going on? And then we have all the memes that come pouring in, of course. Fill your bags, Gary. It's our only move now. So this was before it was removed. After it's been removed, let's go down the hill. And then you've got Larry Fink here dumping Bitcoin off the hill. I mean, you've got to love crypto. You've got to love crypto. So this is the God candle that happened yesterday. I mean, we haven't had a daily green candle like this in a very long time. And one thing that's really significant about this that I wanted to show you is that it's just been in this range for like almost 2 years now. And it just blew right past all of those resistance levels. I mean, incredible. And it blew up to like about $35,000, right? Here is that you can better see. This is the 532-day resistance level. It just blew right past it. Not only that, but it also broke through a 10-month trend line. So it's been under this trend line for 10 months. It just broke through right both of those without resistance, without hesitance. Just, I mean, it's pretty incredible. After so long being in bearish conditions and bearish trends, it was incredible to see, based on all of these catalysts. So what I'm always thinking is, what's my next move? Everybody's paying attention to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin will act like an altcoin when BlackRock actually does step in, when the ETF does get approved and all of the other ETFs get approved. Bitcoin will be the one where all the spotlight is. But what's next? What's happening next? So I'm keeping an eye on the chart here of ETH because, as you know, ARK Invest is filing for an ETH ETF and many others will follow suit. And ETH has been in this accumulation pattern also, looking like a bull flag for quite a while now. And I'm also looking at the ETH BTC chart. And this is basically the chart that indicates whether or not ETH is outperforming Bitcoin. And right now it just seemingly broke down out of this triangle. So Like I said, all eyes are on Bitcoin for the unforeseeable future until that settles down and then the profits trickle into other coins like altcoins. And like I said in my last video, I was talking about ADA. When I bought Cardano in February, so that was 3 months before the Bitcoin halving last cycle, it took Cardano 1 year to start its run. So imagine that, like during that whole time, running up into the halving, and 1 year after or 9 months later, Bitcoin was still the main driver of the show. And then the altcoins ran. So you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about taking positions for altcoins as well. It might be a little while before they start to run. But one thing I do want to bring to your attention is things are different now. Things are definitely different. We've broken above all of these major resistance levels that we've been creating throughout this entire bear market. And the altcoins actually pumped with Bitcoin this time. And we have not seen that in a couple years now. So things are definitely different, and you've got to pay attention to the trends. The trends are your friends until the end. Okay, so then we're going to get to this chart. This was the chart that I showed you where it broke through the 2-year long resistance line here on the horizontal, and also the 10-month resistance trend line. And this is a very interesting one. So I really like Eric Crown. Shout out to Eric Crown. He's a really amazing trader. I know a lot of you watch him. I think his analysis is, I like his analysis because he talks a lot about statistics. He is talking about the BWP. So this is basically showing you volatility, right? Expansion, volatility and expansion. And we have been at one of the lowest volatility points in a very long time. He pointed out on his stream today that it was basically since last June, I believe it was, when it was at its lower points, and that's when Bitcoin went from here all the way up to its all-time high. So this entire move, once this low volatility here breaks up and the expansion begins, it takes usually about 30 days to play out. We're at day 25 now. So on the average, we've got about 5 days left. However, it can take a maximum of 45 days to play out. So this could take anywhere from 5 to, 15 more days, 20 more days. And then what's most interesting is the average return from these levels when it's to the upside. So the average return is 40%, the minimum being 28, maximum outliers being 58, and the average return is 40. So if the average return is 40% from here, from where it broke, from where the expansion started, it would put Bitcoin at about 37,000. And that's not to say it would reverse from there to the downside. It's just to say that is the interim future target. So the near future target is 37,000 based on these average statistics. However, when you're looking at the maximum percentage, that could put Bitcoin anywhere from $43,000 to $45,000, which also lines up with a major fib extension level. So we could have another outlier and reach all the way up to that level. It's very possible. In fact, Eric states in his stream that he believes that the move is not done here, that we will see continuation. And the main thing we have to keep in mind here is we broke out of this two-year bear trend under this trend line. So as long as we hold above that, which right now is about 32,500, then this current rally is as good to go. It's good to go, and we will have continuation. If we start to fall below that and even break below 30,000 again, then it'll be more trouble in the near future. But this is what we're looking for right now. And I wanted to show you this last chart, not to be a Debbie Downer, not to rain on your parade, but just to rein you in a little bit, because I bet what you're all feeling right now is a sense of euphoria. I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling pretty good. It's nice to see Bitcoin up in those numbers. It's nice to see the altcoins pump, but we must not let our emotions run away with us. Just because BlackRock is stepping in now and they could be buying up a lot of BTC, it doesn't mean that this thing is going up only and that you'll never have another chance again. Please, please try to control your emotions. Stick to your strategy. Maybe double down on your dollar cost averaging. Not financial advice, but keep your emotions in check. Keep your calm. Keep your cool. We're not going to chase those massive green candles, but maybe now you can look to get into position when it corrects, when it consolidates, whatever it may be. But keep this in mind too. This is from another trader that I really like to follow, Steve from Crypto Crew University. He has this theory about 5-point formula. The previous market cycle percentage return divided by 5.3. Bottom of next cycle multiplied by equals market cycle top. So it's a factor of 5.3 every time. So it gets less and less explosive as time goes on. So he's saying, according to this analysis, that the next Bitcoin top we could see is 79,000. And a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, don't even tell me that. It's going to 100K and beyond. I mean, we've got all of these massive people saying Bitcoin could hit 1 million. I know. But based on the charts and what Steve's analysis says, which I actually think is very sound in the long term, and we should consider all sides. If that does happen, do you have a plan? Do you know when you're taking profits? We should be working on that. So this is not to leave you on a somber note, but it's just to say, while everything is going crazy, we need to keep our calm and we need to make sure and lock in those profits toward these numbers, not to wait for the magical numbers to the top, just like we're not waiting for the magical numbers to the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed that video, everyone. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I've got more exciting news coming your way. And that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow.